hope you guys are all having a great day. Today we are working on the bathroom and this is the update. I've got a lot of demolition done. I've got some pictures of what it looked like before. I'll try to get those put up. I didn't have time to actually video it. Actually, I had just got my video camera, the new one, to replace the one that got trashed by the tornado. And but between charging it up and some other things going on, I just didn't have time to get the video put together. So right now I'll go ahead and give you an update on where we're at. It's a pretty small bathroom. What we're going to do is build a larger shower, which will be a tile shower with a seat built in it. And then we're also going to build a new vanity and a new wall cabinet. And I'll kind of show you where we're at right now. Okay, here's my old vanity. My grandmother, this was my grandparents' house originally, loved color, so I've got a red sink in the master bathroom. And up here's a fur down. There were some old lights up there. I wanted to go ahead and replace them. Before I decided to just dive off into the master bathroom project, I fished the wire in there and put in some new junction boxes. The old light fixture actually hung in the middle and had two swags that went off to the side that was circa 1970 or so. Right there's where the wall cabinet was above the toilet. Down there you can see the toilet flange and the supply line. I went ahead and demoed the whole shower. Now, hopefully I'll be able to put up the earlier pictures, but essentially this was a 3x3 shower. It was originally framed out to be a 3x5 shower. My dad was a frame carpenter on this project. And my grandpa was super cheap, and he found a 3x3 shower surround, or shower. It was a fiberglass unit that was scratched and got it for cheap, and so he made my dad actually frame down the hole from 3x5 to 3x3 and put in that shower. And I've absolutely hated it. It's like taking a shower in a frickin' phone booth. And so all this time there's been a cavity space. Now my dad did capture a little bit of the corner for a closet, and I did some remodeling a couple of years ago and went ahead and when I was working in the hallway in the closet, went ahead and took the corner of the closet, cut it out and boxed it in, so knowing that eventually I'd do this project. And that's why you can see some drywall up there. So at one point that was actually in the closet. I've got everything tore out right now, including this giant hole in the ceiling. And let me see if I can grab the light. I can that's the framing I had to replace where the boat hit the roof. And yes, it was a glasser, and it caused considerable damage. It just completely splintered some of the joists that were up there. So ended up replacing the joist and rebracing the roof up there and replacing a bunch of the decking. It's amazing how much damage can be made by a boat flying through the air at God knows how fast, 150 miles an hour. Alright, the way this subfloor was originally constructed, this here is actually ply form. It looks a little bit gray. That's because it had been used to pour concrete once. And my dad used a ply form, which is a actual grade A structural plywood. So it's a great plywood for this use, for the subfloor. And then he put particle board on top of it. Now this was 1974. I think the glues that they used were considerably better at that point than what they use now due to the low VOC issues. And it's a really quiet floor. I mean, I don't know why he decided to use that, but it works great. Most people that come in my house cannot tell that it is a frame floor. I've had more than one person just look at me like I was crazy thinking that it was actually a concrete floor because it does not squeak. It's very quiet, very solid. One of the drawbacks to particle board is when it gets wet, it falls apart. Now, this here is a little bit of water damage. And what happened was, this was the back corner of the shower, and for years my grandpa just used a shower curtain. Well, you know, inevitably water's going to get out in the back of the shower back there, splashed out, and this is a result of it. There's a little bit of surface damage to the plywood, but I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it. The particle board, we're going to go ahead and saw up and replace. All things being said, this stuff held up really well, considering, you know, it's got wet for 40 years. And again, I think that's why I go back to saying I think the glues were a lot better. If a modern piece of particle board was exposed to this type of conditions, it would just swell up like a pumpkin in the first week. So One of our missions today is to go ahead and cut out the rest of that particle board. I'm probably we're going to recenter the drain, so I'm going to cut out the drain, and it looks like somebody accidentally cut the drain in the wrong place anyhow, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out this part of the plywood, replace it, and then we'll go ahead and put another layer of plywood over the top. This piece of plywood here, again, I had a silcock back here, or stop, excuse me, that was leaking, and it was just one of those deals that had a little drip. It would drip every once in a while, and when I went to replace the toilet, I figured out that we had the same issue over here. So I had previously replaced this piece, but I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and saw it back over to here and just replace this whole area. We're going to put a waterproof membrane down over the floor anyhow, so this shouldn't be an issue in the future, but while I've got it up, we might as well just take it out. And the other thing we need to do is remove the vanity. And I would have already taken this out except for my stops back there. I've got a well, and those things have been open since 1972, and given the minerals and calcium in the water, I'm pretty sure I'd never get those things closed. So I went to the store today, we'll shut the water off and sweat some caps on those, because I want to go ahead and tear some drywall off back there and replace it that's damaged while I've got this thing taken apart. So that's where we're at today, mainly just tearing stuff up, and we'll get to work doing the rest of the demo and get ready and start putting this thing back together.